Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another interview on MR Nation. Today, I'm joined by TIARNAN LOUGHRAN. An absolute pleasure. How are you?
Yes, Lanny, all good, lad. How are you?
Yeah, an absolute pleasure to be joined by you. Pro debut got announced the other day. It was perfect timing. I was gonna get you on, but there was nothing in the pipeline. And then the day of, it got announced. Perfect.
I know when you actually texted me, it was like I was like, that was so quick. I only got told about the pro debut like literally 5 minutes before you text. I was like, this guy has got all the inside details, but then you didn't know. So I actually
No
told
idea.
you.
I had no idea. It was funny. I remember I text you and I swiped off and I looked at Sevilla and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my, this is perfect. This is absolutely unreal. But yeah, it's good to speak about you. The pro debut set, obviously, Cage Conflict 12, £155. It's going to be good. But firstly, I want to talk about that amateur career. And what a fantastic amateur career you had, Tiernan. If looking back at it and you look at all them 10 wins, look at all them achievements that you had, the first one that pops to memory and you think, you know what? That's the one I'm most proud of. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know. I would say one of my biggest wins as an amateur, probably the one that not went under the radar or anything, but maybe Alexander Sullivan. I would say that was a big one. I don't know, boys like even fighting boys. I fought Carl McBlain when I was 18, like quite experienced. Like my whole amateur career was probably a bit delayed because of COVID. I had a real bad, not that I had a real bad run over COVID, but it was kind of just like it kind of hit me at a bad time. Was kind of my amateur career. I could have been pro a year ago maybe, but it's probably one of the things that turned out for the best. But even when I was 18, I was fighting like guys like Carl McBlain and like a sold out Crown Plaza. Like those were all great experience. I wouldn't change one thing about my amateur career. I fucking loved every bit of it. And I would say any amateur coming up, I would say use the time wisely, because it's only really now, like I've been talking to guys, like always talking to Kale and stuff like that, and like where I actually only really do feel ready to go pro now. I would have thought I was ready at 21, and I would have thought maybe I was ready at 20, but looking back on it, I wasn't. But I feel like I am there now. Like
Absolutely. You won multiple championships at the amateur scene in Ireland. Any Irish fight that can dream of. You out there, you won it. What does them amateur championships mean to you? You look back at them. What does that mean to you? Having them belts and you kind of winning them.
Oh, they're good. I was never really caught up on the belts. Really, like obviously they're good to win, but as long as I knew that I was fighting the best guy in the country, like the likes of Max, like the number one ranked, or whoever I fought last time, all those guys. Like if you're fighting for the belt, you're fighting the best in the country. So that's really all I wanted. So the belt was just like something to symbolize that. Like I didn't actually really care. Like if the belts are hanging up in the room there, but I do like them. They're good to have. But as far as winning the belts, that was never really a goal. Like it's just always been fighting the best, and that way I got the best experience. Found out where I was.
Absolutely. I think it's good to talk about obviously the wins, the victories, the accomplishment, the good side of them, but I think it's more important to talk about some of the losses, some of the the lessons that you kind of learned at the amateur scene, and I'd love to talk about that as well. Obviously, suffering them 2 losses. Looking back at them 2, which one do you kind of look at and think, you know what, I learned a lot from that fight, and now I'm a better fighter after that?
The Lally one. 100% the Max Lally fight. I would like. I think I've said it in the podcast before. Like that loss, although there was a lot going on. Like there was a lot going on before that, and like the moving from gyms. I was only in Fight Academy for a few weeks and stuff, but like, that was a hard one to take. That was a really hard one to take. And in my head at the time, there was no excuse. I just lost the Stringer fight. There was a few things going on and stuff, but the Lally fight, there was no excuse, and I had to really sit down and look at myself. I was like, well, what went wrong? And then from doing that, I just learned a lot, and I learned that, like, I remember going into the Lally fight and I was like pumping myself up before it, and I was thinking like, oh, I'll actually be dead honest. In the Lally fight, I actually didn't even really focus on skills. I was focusing on skills in the gym, but then in the back of my head, I was thinking, I'm just gonna try and run over the top of this man, just power over him. But now I've learned that's just not going to work. That's just the stupidest thing ever. So that's probably the loss I got the most experience from. And then, yeah, all of them, even the wins. But you can always, I feel like you can always take from the wins too. Like when you look back and like when you did win, you're like, how did I win? I won because I was of how you fought, or you maybe how you handled the situation. So having that 5 fights this year was a complete game changer now. Definitely.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about that. Obviously, 4 victories in 2023. I'd seen, Colin as well. He'd been teasing it when you were going to go pro. Obviously, you talked about that. You could have gone pro earlier. How did you know the time was right? How did you know? Okay, this is it now. Time to go pro. Time to go over to that scene.
Well, I don't know. If I was to be dead honest, who was the number 2? The number 1 guy in the country was Keith Q. I mean, if they had offered me him as an amateur, I maybe could have got off for it. I maybe could have got off for it, but like, not really. And he was the number 1. He's 15-1, talking like Ireland's maybe best amateur ever, stuff like that. But if you were to offer me any other amateur in the country at this time, like I just probably, I don't know, it would just be another fight, and then you would end up, I don't know, maybe losing because you're sitting there and your head's half in it. And like, plus just the performances, like I was fighting Soup, that Mark Soup, my last one, and I didn't really like, not that it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy in any way. If it was easy, I would have finished him, but I just felt really comfortable in there. Didn't really feel stressed at any point, and that's not really what you even want. When you get stressed in there, that's where you start to make mistakes. And I didn't really get that. So I was just talking to coaches, thinking, like, I think now is the time. Like,
absolutely, it's going to be fantastic. Obviously, pro debut set for February 24th. Obviously, it's a huge step up in your career. Now we have that fight set. How is the feeling? Heading into your first professional fight instead of the amateur fight that that you've been known to be heading. Obviously, you had 15 amateur fights, I believe, off the top of my head. So, how does it feel to be heading into your first professional fight?
It feels good, lad. I feel, not that this matters, but it feels good to finally be getting paid for this shit. I swear to God. Although I'm sure it won't be much. But see, as an amateur, you lose an absolute fortune to fights. But maybe it'll be the same in these. Maybe it'll be the same as a pro. I don't know. So that side of it will be pretty nice, and just everything. Your whole dream from day one, and this was to be a professional MMA fighter. So I always looked forward to being able to say that. Now you're a pro. Now you've done a bit what you set out to do, and you can kind of you can kind of see the path. Like I can look. It was always hard. I was always looking at those Cage Wars featherweights and was like, I fucking know I can beat those guys. I know I can beat them. I know, like, I'm looking at the top 3 in Cage Wars right now, not the champion, looking at the top 3 things, and I'm like, I fucking know I can beat them, and I'm an amateur. But who cares? Because I'm an amateur, it doesn't really matter. So I never really looked at them. But now I'm a pro. Now I'm on the scene, and now I can look at them boys, and I know I can beat them. I know I can beat every single one of them. So I'm looking forward to showing that.
I'd love to talk about that path there. You mentioned Cage Warriors. Is that the route that you would love to go down? The same as obviously your brother. Obviously, it's a fantastic route and probably the correct route for you to go into if you want to get to the UFC, which is, I presume, is the goal.
The UFC is the goal. That is the number 1 goal. Cage Wars, like, no disrespect to anyone, no disrespect to any promotion, but it's not the goal. Like, I would love to be a Cage Wars champion. I would love to be. But the goal is to be a UFC champion. So whoever can get me there, I don't really care. That's my only goal. But Cage Wars seems to be the most clear path. Fuck me, you do what Keelan done. You won 3 fights. Although this could be a massive mistake. You win 3 fights, not for Keelan, but you win 3 fights in Cage Wars. You could be in the UFC. Like, I don't want that yet. I'm nowhere near that. So that's why I'm holding back in Cage Wars. Like, I probably have no intention of signing Cage Wars this year, like a multi-fight deal, because it could go wrong. I don't fear any of them. I don't fear one of them. That top 5. So like, but that it doesn't mean you're ready for the UFC. So I don't know. Maybe take a year. Maybe take 2 years. I'm still only 22. Maybe take 2 years out of Cage Wars. Wait till I'm 25. Do exactly what Keelan done. Get to the UFC at 26. That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah, I wanted to speak about then, the influence with Kalen. How influential and how massive has he been? Because obviously, he's went on to being, an accomplished pro. You talked about there, obviously won the Cage Warriors championship, then went on to the UFC. What words of wisdom? What has he passed down to, obviously, to his little brother? What has he given to you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to think off the top of my head. We kind of see like get at this stuff. We get like discuss this stuff. Like I don't know. Maybe when we're drinking a couple of pints, we'll maybe start to get really deep in this stuff, and then you wake up and you don't really remember. But no, he would always give me advice. But then he's not the only one to look up. Like I can look up. Like I was training with Reese. I was actually training, like doing rounds with Reese the other day. Like look, he's doing the same. I can look up the guys like that, and I can get knowledge. Like I actually have stuff that I would like to talk to them boys about. Like I have so many boys, Paul Hughes. I have so many boys about me now who can just give me like just wee tips. Who have been there, who have been exactly where I'm at now. Kaelin's one of them, Paul's one, and Reese one of them. So you can get all these different looks and like, yeah. No, I've got guys who have been there. Like, so I'll take wee bits from all of them. Maybe not rush anything. I'd say that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll circle back to the pro debut. Andrea Flamminio, I would love to pronounce his name. An Italian, 1 victory, 1 defeat. We talked about before we went on it. It's very hard to see anything about him, if anything. For the first fight, your first professional fight, how do you view this as a test? How difficult?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I've never seen anything about him. I went on until I seen one of his fights, and the whole show was up on YouTube, and I was like scrolling through it. I was like, going, the Wi-Fi in fucking Backmore Tyrone is not the best. I was going through it and it was taking so slow. I was like, oh fuck this place. And like I didn't even watch it. I couldn't be bothered. And then when on his Instagram, I was telling you before this, when on his Instagram, I was like, oh, there he is hitting the pads. I was like, I looked for about 30 seconds. I was like, you know what? I actually got it was him holding the pads. He was holding the pads. So I know absolutely nothing about him, but I know if I'm at my best on fight night, and I know if I fight to my full ability, which I plan to do as my pro debut, if I overlook this guy, I am an absolute dickhead. I'm not going to overlook anyone in my pro debut. So, if I fight to the best of my ability, it probably should be enough. Like, but I would like to get something on him. Like, you'd always like to see a wee bit. Like,
yeah. For me as well, definitely made my my job a little bit harder. I did the exact same thing as you. I was looking through this. It was a 3-hour long video, wasn't it? The whole event, and they had graphics. They had nothing. And I just thought, how the hell am I going to tell when he's fighting? I just wanted to see something a little bit about him. I couldn't.
Yeah. Hey, that takes credit for even attempting that. I would have seen I even seen 3 hours, and I was like, oh no, fuck this. Not a chance. Not a chance of my watching this full Italian card. No way.
Yeah, I got to admit though, the promotion and when they were fighting in the arena, it looked quite cool. Other than that, I couldn't find anything. But anyway, heading into this fight, obviously, professional debut, the rules change. Elbows, knees. How does that excite you? Obviously, the first time you'll be able to throw them legally in a fight.
I am looking forward to it, definitely. I'm not gonna get too caught up in it though. Like I'm not gonna get carried away. Like, oh my god, I can elbow somebody in the head now. Like if you actually think about the top strikers in MMA, like Israel Adesanya or Volkanovski, these guys, like how many times do they land like a really clean flush Muay Thai elbow on the feet? Like not that often. Leon Edwards is probably the best from like clinch elbow. He's probably the best at it. But like, I'm not gonna get completely caught up thinking, oh my god, I can now knee these guys in the head and elbow, because it's quite a hard thing to do. Like, but I am looking forward. The main difference will probably be on the ground, because I am a pressure fighter. Like I'll pressure on the ground, pressure to pass. But for me to get shots off, sometimes I have to relieve like too much pressure, like take my chest off too much. Now I don't have to do that. Now I'll crack an elbow past your guard, past the mouth, crack an elbow again. So my top game will I feel like it'll get even better, and it's got a lot better than last year anyway under Fight Academy. But so that would be the biggest difference. But I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna come out throwing fucking flying knees and a flying elbow from day one. Like I'm not gonna get too carried away on
it. Yeah. So Jorge Masvidal pro debut. That's it.
Literally until it lands, just keep throwing it in these guys. Just keep flying over Italians.
That'd be funny.
One thing I would say the main thing I'm looking forward to is getting 15 minutes in the cage. Like I was supposed to fight Teddy String over 5-3s. Obviously, it didn't go the 5-3s, but like now I'll be getting 3-5s. Now it's a long time in there, so you can take it slow. You can slow things down. You can like amateur MMA. There's no reading your opponents. Like that's a load of shit. Anyone who says
in and it's just there's no mucking around. It's straight there. That's it.
Literally, who's going to shoot a double leg first and hold you against the cage? That is literally amateur MMA because the cage is so small and it's like a lot of guys nobody wants to lose, so they'll just throw you against the cage. Now in the pros, it's 5 minutes. If you do that, you'll be fucking wrecked. So you can't do that. So there's more figuring out. It's actually I'm looking forward to that side of it more than anything.
Okay, last question on the fight itself. February 24th. How do you get your hand raised? Yeah, how do you get your hand raised?
I'm gonna knock ANDREA FLAMMINIO clean out. Glenny. Highlight reel.
That would be fantastic.
That is my plan. I swear to God, I want to knock this man clean out, and I want it to be like, holy fuck, that was unreal. Because that's the way to make the most of that. I'm not gonna overdo it, but if I can put this man clean out, I'm gonna try and do it. Like that's the plan. But I'm sure he's a lovely guy, Andrew.
Yeah, he probably is. And we'll have a lot more tape on him after this fight, hopefully. But anyway,
all right.
2024 obviously starts February 24th. Looking, not looking past ANDREA or anything like that, but if we're looking at success before, what does that look like in your mind?
Sorry, did you say a successful 2024?
Yes. Now, if we're looking at 2024, obviously we're not looking past ANDREA, February 24th or anything like that. But what does the successful 2024 look in your mind?
Just more experience as a pro. Like I'm not like last year I fought 5 times in a year. I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that this year. Like I can slow things down. Maybe fly away somewhere. Maybe like experience a couple of new things. Like I don't know. Maybe get a fight abroad. I actually got a couple of offers there. A couple of organizations. Like don't get me wrong, it's still Europe, but it would still be flying. So that'd be a good experience. Maybe some stuff like that. But like just taking it slow. Like I don't want to be. Although it would be great. It'd be great to be 12-0 at the age of fucking 25. But like I don't have to be. Like I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Like I don't want to get to the age of 24 and be like, oh my God, I'm ready for the UFC, because I probably won't be. Like I might be, but I don't have to be. You can be ready at 26. I didn't start the sport that young. So no, I would say the plan is show everyone how good I am as a pro. That'll be the plan this year, and then get more experience. Knock a few men out. That'd probably be the plan.
My last question I got for you, Tyrone. I always joked with Colin about Tyrone and obviously the GA, the gaming team. And I have no idea. I bought a jersey and everything, and I still have no idea how the game is played. But I would say I'm a diehard Tyrone fan. So how do we win the GAA this year?
How are we going to win the All-Ireland?
Yes. Is that what it's called? If that's what it's called, that's what it is. How are we going to win that?
I don't know. Hey, just fucking put the ball over the bar. Take the points and the goals will come, Lanny. That's what I always say. But I don't know. Them boys know better than me. Like fuck if they do it, that'll be class. I remember the last time they done it. Fuck, it was some session. Was that? I swear to God. I actually done my knee. The week before Tyrone won the All-Ireland final. So I had to come home and do my surgery. And I couldn't do MMA. It was the best thing that ever happened. I had a great time.
I can't remember when Colin would said the season would kick off again. Maybe January.
Them boys are fucking flat out. Honestly, them boys do not get a break. Like if like them boys who are playing the Club All Ireland finals the other week or Club All Ireland semi-finals, they'll be right back out. They'll be right back out in January. So like them boys train like pros. So
and the amateurs, it's crazy. You don't even get paid. It's ridiculous.
I know it's absolutely ridiculous, and the level of training they do is absolutely they do train very, very hard. But hey, that's the sport. That's the sport. Fuck it. What do you do?
Yeah,
I'd love to get more of them in MMA. Fuck me, boys. If you get some of the athletes that are in GA football, although I don't want to say anything bad, I don't really pull men out of the sport. But see if you get some of those boys who are coming through young GA footballers and got them into Gaelic football, the amount of men that be coming through Ireland, Irish MMA is already flying, but it would double. It would literally double. But hey, it's not my call.
Absolutely. Anyway, an absolute pleasure, Tiernan. I can't wait for February 24th. It's going to be an absolute fantastic show. Cage Conflict 12, £155 versus an Italian on Andrea Flamminio. So it's going to be a great show, isn't it? Where can we watch it? I don't know. Is it on pay-per-view? I've never watched a Cage Conflict show. I can't even lie.
Yeah, it's on Cage Conflict. They do a link. They do a link that you get it on there. It'll be in my bio. It'll be in their bio. So if you just click on that, you'll be able to watch it. And then it's going to be in the Devonish Arena, February 24th. That's what it is.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute pleasure, Tiernan. An absolute pleasure. See you on February 24th. I can't wait to watch. It's going to be a fantastic show. You are going to make a statement this year, and that starts with February 24th. Appreciate it.
Fucking right, Danny. Let's go, lad. Thank you. Hey, cheers. Come on.
Thank you.